If you need to expose your block server to a network accessible by the public, or perhaps even to the internet at large, it's a good idea to use an encrypted connection. Before continuing, this video is going to get pretty nerdy, so unless you're into web server administration stuff, you should probably stop watching this video right here. An encrypted connection is often indicated by a padlock symbol, as you can see up here in the URL bar. Looking at the URL itself, you can see that it starts with the protocol name HTTPS, where S stands for secure. Using such an encrypted connection makes sure that any data sent to the server, such as your password, can't be seen by other users with access to the same network. A side benefit of this encrypted connection is that you can use other authentication methods that allow users to log out and to switch users. So we have a new command added to this menu right here when using a secure connection and configured properly that allows you to log out admin, and that gets you right back to the login window, and now I can log in as the manager user. And then we're back, and now I'm logged in as manager, and you can log out again right here. In order to use a secure connection, you need two things. First, you need a certificate made for the domain name that you are using. In this case, we are using pixi.guide up here. A certificate is a file that essentially proves that you are you to your visitors. It also contains the encryption keys used by the secure HTTPS connection. The server must use a domain name in order to use a certificate. You cannot use an IP address up here. Here I'm using our standard domain name pixi.guide. You may use this domain name as well if you're on an internal network. If you need to access your server via the internet or want to use another domain name for other reasons, you must get a proper domain name of your own. If you want to use pixi.guide on an internal network, contact us for further details on how to configure your server. If you want to use another domain name, such as something based on a domain you already own, you need to obtain a suitable certificate yourself. Certificates are available from a number of companies called certificate authorities, or CAs, companies that sell certificates. Your CA of choice will tell you how to obtain and install the certificate. Finally, keep in mind that all certificates come with an expiration date, typically at most 2 years from the date you purchased the certificate. You must remember to renew your certificate before it expires, or your server will stop accepting connections after that date. Once you have obtained the certificate, you need to configure your block server to use that certificate. This is done in the server configuration file. This is usually named config.yml, and you can see the file right here. Here I've logged onto my server using file sharing so I can access the files that's on the block server. You can see the configuration file right here. Here you can also see the certificate file obtained from the CA. Inside the configuration file, you need to make the following changes. To enforce the use of HTTPS for authorized access, you need to set the require HTTPS on the server to true right up here. Without this setting, you can still use HTTPS, but it's not mandatory, so you can log in either as HTTP or as HTTPS. But if you've gone to the extra work of obtaining a certificate, you probably want to always use HTTPS for authorized access, so you should set this setting to true. Set the keystore path to the location, the path and the file name of the certificate. And in this case, since the certificate is in the same folder as in the block's root folder, it's right here. I just need to specify the name pixi.guide.p12, which is the name I specified here. You set the keystore type to the type of certificate being used. There are various formats of these files that you can choose when you buy the certificate, and here we recommend the PKCS12 type, sometimes referred to as a P12, which is also indicated by the file extension here. The Keystore password, here represented by these asterisks, is used to access what's stored in the file, and you specify this password when you create or when you obtain this certificate from your CA. Likewise, the certificate alias here is a name or a number that specifies the proper certificate to use from within this file, since the file can contain multiple certificates. Finally, if you want to use form-based authentication, allowing you to log out, you need to specify this section down here, and it should look just like this. And the a key piece here that activates the form-based authentication is this internal form right here. This then replaces the default digest authentication method, which doesn't support logout.